From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenLine. I am Ben Hall. Good show tonight. We're talking about something everybody cares about. We're talking about your money. And so tonight is a chance for you to call in and get free advice when it comes to your money. And we're talking specifically about taxes. And many people may wonder, well, the tax deadline has already come and gone. Well, what should you do if you didn't file? Or what should you do to prepare for next year? Happy to have with us somebody who can answer all these questions and probably even more, Dr. Friday.
Hey there.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
All right, so what if somebody said, I didn't even know I was supposed to have my taxes done by now?
Yeah, that's obviously someone not in the loop or watching News Channel 5. Because
Yes.
I think I saw it for like the whole weekend. Because we got lucky this year because the fact that the 15th fell on a holiday, a Friday. So we actually got 3 extra days, which was actually great for a lot of us that, you know, sweat that last day. But if you did not file, the answer is rush to file now, right? Because there is a penalty for failure to file. That's 5% a month that they're going to charge you up to 25% of what you owe. So that can be a really hefty. And to give you the difference, say you filed an extension, because that was called failure to file penalty. But let's say you just couldn't pay your taxes, right? That's only 0.5% per month. So it's a big difference. Always file the extension. At this point, you can't go backwards. No sense in crying about it. File your taxes now, though. Get that money. I mean, just get the paperwork in, because that stops one of the largest penalties that we deal with for taxes.
Well, I didn't realize that. So every month, there's a 5% penalty.
If you haven't filed them. And obviously, a lot of times people will just wait till the next deadline, which is October 15th for individuals. So then you're 6 months behind. So that's a 25% penalty already that you have. That doesn't include interest. That doesn't include failure to pay penalties. That is solely just the failure to file penalty.
And how often does that happen?
Every time. I mean,
How much do you see of that?
If you owe money, it happens every time. It's a great penalty. IRS is renowned for their penalties. I mean, that's why all those, you know, they make more money, I think, in penalties than they do in taxes. So there's ways of stopping it. That's why we always get so excited about extensions, because a lot of people are like, well, what's an extension? I still can't pay it. But it gives us the ability to stop that penalty, which is huge. But if you haven't done it, you didn't get the opportunity to file your extension, you missed it, you thought maybe your tax person was going to do it for you. We hear all kinds of excuses on it. If that's the case, do your taxes now. Don't wait till the October deadline since you're late already. Sooner you do it, less penalty you'll be dealing with.
And how often do you hear that in your line of work, where people just, they don't file or they forget, or you know, how often do you hear it? Because here we are, it's past April 15th.
Yes.
And you're right, we had a little extra time.
Yes.
But it seems like this is the time this should have been done.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You would think we wouldn't have to really be talking about this afterwards, but considering my firm alone does about 400 extensions, you know, and I'm what I would consider a very small firm. I can imagine what the larger firms are doing. So, you know, there's a lot of extension filing. The biggest thing is people just kind of assume that your tax person's going to file it. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes, you know, because, you know, you can't really assume someone else is going to remember you once a year seeing them, even if they've been with them for years and years. Always confirm that information. Even now, confirm that you have your extension, just to be sure that that's one less worry you have to worry about. Then you worry about making that payment.
So let's say you have filed an extension. What should you be doing now? Now you have until when? October?
You have until October, but the reason probably 85% of people file extensions because they don't have the money. It's that simple. They don't have the money, and they don't want the IRS calling, writing, sending them intent to levy letters. So what the IRS doesn't know won't hurt them, theory, okay? So they get this 6-month window, which, okay, that is a plan, but what is your plan to pay? Start making payments today for the money you owe in 6 months, so you're not holding on to it until that time. Start sending it in every single month. You can make payments for 2015 now. You know, so that's really the biggest thing. People make the mistake. They hold it up, they keep it in a savings account, so you're making 0% interest in a savings account, yet the government is charging you at least a 0.5% plus, that's just the penalty, plus the interest of 7% a year or whatever. So you're not making money by having it in the bank. Start sending the money as you get it. You can send it weekly, you can send it monthly, whatever. Send the money to them so that it reduces down what we can't get rid of. Remember, we can maybe waive penalties on some circumstances. We cannot waive interest at all.
And that's good advice. Start paying something.
Something. It doesn't make a difference.
And I didn't realize, so when when people file an extension, the vast majority, and I think you said 85%, is because they can't afford it right now. What's the other 15%? What else?
Well, in other situations, with a large number of our clients, they're invested in other businesses, and they're at the mercy of those businesses filing the taxes on time to give them the K-1s to file their own personal taxes. So remember, if you invest into another company and you have to have them file first, a lot of those companies file extensions, therefore leading into us having to file an extension just because of that. Now, in those cases, we've already paid all the taxes that we know of. Many of our clients will send in a very large amount of money or pay quarterlies, whatever, so we're not really worried about delaying payment. In this case, we're really just waiting for documentation.
We already have a couple calls. We love taking calls.
Yes,
It's a chance for you to call in with your situation, or maybe it's a friend or whatever, but get some advice. So let's go to Renee. Hello, Renee.
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead.
I have this question. So I did a lot of working and traveling with the company, and when it was time for me to file my taxes, they made a mistake and had me under Georgia. I'm in the state of Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and they had it Nashville, Georgia, but with the Tennessee zip code. I was thinking that at the time I had filed an extension, and then things happened with me, and we're in the year 2016 trying to fill my taxes from 2012.
Okay.
When I used Vita, which they're a lifesaver, some kind of way I did file the taxes for 2012, but it was filed up under Georgia and not the state of Tennessee. And I've been trying to work with the company to get that corrected, and I just want to know what type of advice do you have for me on that situation?
That's a great question. I'm going to make a guess that, I'm guessing, did you actually work in the state of Georgia, but you're a Tennessee resident?
No, this was a situation where I worked in the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
And so the taxes would come from your home state from where you are with this company.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like possibly they may have taken Georgia tax out on her because they had her listed as a person that was from Georgia. Georgia has an income tax. Tennessee does not have an income tax, so we have zero tax that comes out for the purpose of income taxes. So you need to file one of two things. Likely, you're going to probably have to file with the state of Georgia and just file as a non-resident and get your money back if there's a case of money being actually there. And that way, they'll also know that you are not living in the state of Georgia, because that would have been turned in under your Social Security number. They're going to be looking for that return. So that would be what I would do. I would just go ahead and file a non-resident, get the refund for the money that that you're entitled to, and then obviously at that point you'll be fine.
And what are the time frames here? Is she talking, what was she?
See, what she was rushing to do is by April the 15th or 18th in this year, she had to have 2012 filed or she would have lost her refund. We can only get 3 years back. So that was a huge deadline for people that had money. Sometimes people just get busy and they know they don't owe any money, so they just don't worry so much about taxes. And next thing you know, they're a little further out than they realize. So if you have not filed taxes from 2012, 11, 10, 9, whatever, and you just have refunds, there's nothing you do. I should still say file, because the government may not agree that you have a refund, because they file everyone as single and zero if they're doing it themselves, and you may be head of household with 2 children. So kind of want to make sure the government knows what you have. But once you have them filed, just remember you're not going to get that refund.
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question, Renee?
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
All right.
Hopefully they answered your question.
Good job. Let's go to Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
Hi. Go right ahead.
I'd like to ask the expert if there's any way I could benefit tax-wise from having a home that I don't live in, but I live in it now, but I'm thinking of moving away, and I want to hold on to it for a few years to see if it's going to appreciate in value. And is there a way for me to benefit tax-wise?
Well, I don't know if tax-wise, but you could actually turn it into a rental for the next 2 years and still qualify for it as your primary residence. So if you sold it, you would get the exclusion. So it might not be a benefit. I'm not too sure, as far as normally rentals don't make people a lot of times money, but it does have someone paying you some money while it's there instead of sitting empty for a year or two. So it may be something like that. And if it has a loss, it could actually get you a refund on the situation. So that might be something to consider, just depending on the type of person you get in and all that. It is your primary home. You may not want to rent it out and have other people in it. But that would be my suggestion. A house sitting empty depreciates. I mean, it just it falls apart really fast.
Right.
So you might want to have somebody in it, preferably paying you a few dollars to help maintain it, if nothing else.
Where do you live, Cindy?
I'm in Rutherford County in Smyrna.
Oh, okay. That's a nice area. So
I'm near Nissan, so in a subdivision.
So it'd be a good rental, maybe. I mean, it may turn into a supplemental income for you if are you retired?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So this may give you some supplemental income, and you may not even have to pay any money on it. No taxable dollars is what I'm saying. So it could be a win-win in the extent that if you don't have a mortgage or you have a small one and you're able to collect a decent rent, you could put money in your pocket and maybe not even have to still file taxes on it if you're only living off Social Security or a small pension.
I see. Okay, well, thanks so much.
No problem.
All right, Cindy, thank you. Seems like that would go up in value.
Well, that's it. I mean, she sounds like she's in a decent neighborhood and everything like that. But, nowadays real estate, from all my agents, they're saying as soon as a house goes on the market, it's selling.
Yeah,
I mean, that
like
fast. So
crazy.
it might be a time to actually get a second opinion on the sale of that home. But
All right, we're going to take a break. If you want to call in, we have lines open. There's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Any tax questions, give us a call. Take a break. We'll be back right after this.